So I've been putting off this project for a little while simply because I've really been intimidated on how it would work or how it would turn out. And I got to the point to where, you know what, I'm just going to do it and see how it turns out. And with After getting all the pieces glued up, I took them all apart from the clamps and I was noticing all the different colors that I had with the purple heart, the babinga, paduke, and the walnut, oak, cherry, all different types of wood with different types of colors. And it made me think of Joseph and the coat of many colors in the Bible. If you've never heard the story and you're curious about what I'm talking about, you can read it yourself in Genesis chapter 37. It's a great story. But what I'm trying to do is make circles into the pieces that I glued up to make it a little bit easier to cut on the bandsaw and glue up the pieces together to make a nice blank to turn. While I'm cutting them on the bandsaw, I appreciate all the stickers I've received for Nick Ferry and the Carmichael Workshop, the Woodworking Maniac, Stone and Sons, Woodworking for Mere Mortals, MF Woodshop, and Steve French and his buddy Woody. Appreciate all the stickers. Miter Mike, I hadn't forgot you. You're on my overflow on the router table. Now this was the fun, tricky, slippery, and messy part. Gluing all these up and getting them all kind of squared up, level, and straight up with the glue sliding around was kind of fun, but getting them to clamp up was a challenge. So I just got them good and gooey and made sure that there's plenty of glue on both sides, stacked them up, crossed the grains up so each block had different grains going in different directions, and got the clamps out, clamped it down, and made a big nice wood sandwich. Turned the lathe down as low as it'd go, so it was a little bit unstable when it at first going until I got it rounded down a little bit, but the Easy Wood tools made it real easy to get it down to the shape I wanted it to be able to speed it up. Once I had it up to speed and I was able to start shaping it, if you'll notice to the end of the faceplate, I had a larger piece of walnut that was square. That way it was a large enough piece that I could mount it to the faceplate and screw onto the lathe. Well, that was a mistake, because as you can see, that square piece, although it looks round as it's turning, it is square. And those square corners, when they're turning, they're invisible. With them being invisible, my finger hit that and it hurt. So I would suggest being very careful when you're turning something square if you're doing plates or anything like that. But I found out very quickly that I was going to make this symmetrical, so I got the Easy Wood tool detailer out and I began to shave off that corner so it would be round all the way through and I wouldn't have to worry about hitting my finger on that corner anymore. Once I had it pretty close to the shape that I was wanting, I got my parting tool out and picked the spot to where I wanted the lid to part off and just kind of shape it down. I don't have a really sharp parting tool, so I did try to sharpen it on my disc sander, and it helps some, but I need to invest in a good parting tool. But this really came out all right. It's probably not the correct technique to use to cut off a lid or turn off a lid, but it worked for me, and it fit back on fairly well. So once I measured off the cut, I wanted to make sure that it fit well back inside the box itself. So I just measured it off, took a pencil, drew a line, and I knew that I didn't want to turn to the outside of that line. That would be the inner part of the box. And again, I know this probably isn't the proper correct technique to do this, but instead of hollowing out the box, I just done a slight tenon on it to be able to chuck it up. That way I can turn the rest of the shape of the box down the way I wanted it, so that the total shape of the box will be complete. And also that would allow me to turn a tenon on the bottom of the box. That way I can flip the box around and begin hollowing out the box itself. So that's what I'm doing here, is actually turning a tenon on the bottom of the box and just flipping it around and to begin hollowing out the inside of the box. It was really neat to see all the different shaving colors come out of the center of this, and how well the carbide tip tools just cut through this wood like butter. It made real easy work of hollowing out the box. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not so much as what the box is itself, but more of what goes in the box that concern me. So what I've got here is something very special to me, and it's probably silly to a lot of people. But when I was in Jerusalem, I was able to go by Peter's house in Capernaum. And in doing that, he lives by the Sea of Galilee, or lived by the Sea of Galilee. And this is where Jesus came up to him and told him that he would make him fishers of men. Well, what this is actually the soil by the Sea of Galilee in front of Peter's house that I've got, that I was wanting to send to a friend. So that's what I made the box for, is to be able to turn, to be able to contain the soil from the Sea of Galilee to send off. And I hope he enjoys the box and also the soil. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, the wood of many colors box turning that I did. First real true box that I did, that I was able to share with you. And the content inside, it's really a sentimental thing to me. So I know some people may think it's silly, but you know, each their own. But if you would like some of the content within this box, I can tell you how you can get some. My first box that I ever turned is this walnut box. I didn't film it. It's just a simple little box. And what I'll do is give some of that sand away, the dirt away from the Sea of Galilee in front of Peter's house in this box, and I'll send it out to you. You just have to answer a trivia question for me. And it's a real simple trivia question. I've already given you where to look to find the answer. So, who can tell me whose Joseph's mother is? What is her name? That simple. And I'll send the first person that answers that correctly a wooden turned box with some dirt from the Sea of Galilee from in front of Peter's house. So let me know if you'd like that, answer it correctly, and I'll send it out to you.
I'd like to thank you for watching. I appreciate all my subscribers and all the views. And always remember, be kind to one another.